Flagstaff Fire in Boulder, where there is a situation there where they are watching very, very carefully and throwing all kinds of resources at it. Mark Stewart standing by right now with the latest.
And Mike, we've seen some thunder and lightning, a few raindrops, but the big story at the moment seems to be the wind. It seems to be pushing the smoke to the northwest. If you could take a look up above, the smoke that we previously saw basically cascading across the whole mountain range here is primarily moving to the west. We have seen some flames, though, pop up here and there over the last 20 minutes or so. We should get a much better read on this fire coming up at 8:30 tonight when the Boulder County Sheriff holds a news conference. Among the questions we want to ask, one, the size of the fire. At this point, it's been estimated between 200 and 300 acres. Unfortunately, based off of what we have been seeing and based off of the terrain, there's a very good possibility that it may be even larger. We are also curious to hear about containment. If there is any good news in all of this, is that it seems that the resources that have been requested are arriving. We have seen a lot of fight on this fire from the air. We have seen the Sikorsky helicopters with their booms that can drop water. We've seen the massive C-130 cargo planes drop retardant. In addition, this fire is transitioning into a Type 1 incident command, meaning the feds are going to take control. That will allow ordering of resources to take place even faster. Nonetheless, there is a tremendous concern about public safety. At one point this afternoon, an official at the sheriff's office says that this fire was very close to jumping a ridge into the city limits. We're anxious to hear if he is still holding to that word, to that estimate. Again, though, we're hearing some more lightning, some more wind. Unfortunately, the volume of rain that we would all like to see just isn't falling here. So for that reason, a number of people, I think now close to 2,000 people, if those numbers are correct, are now on pre-evacuation orders.
Yeah, we are now at 2,415 phone calls that went out, Mark. And we're also seeing some unconfirmed reports of some spot fires kicking up. Are you seeing any indication of flames?
So we have been seeing flames popping up here and there across this ridge for the past 20 minutes. They do appear to be smaller spot fires. Earlier we did see some pretty tall flames, some more concentrated fires, but these seem to be happening here and there. And with the thunder and lightning moving through, that's a concern, these spot fires, because as we have seen in other fires across Colorado, particularly to the north, these spot fires may not be so mighty at the start, but an hour or two later can consume quite a bit of acreage.
Very shortly, we're going to be getting an update there at 8:30 at the Boulder County Justice Center as to what the very latest on this fire is. I'm wondering if from your position there, have you heard anything at all about when this Type 1 management team, incident management team, is going to take over?
I've not heard an official timetable. I think it appears to be perhaps a formality, just the signing of some papers. Already there's been a very large federal presence in Colorado because of the ongoing fires of the past and because of this current threat. For example, the Jefferson County Airport has had a number of aircraft parked there, ready to go, able to fuel up and retardant. That's the same in Pueblo. So I think the bodies are here, so to speak, and perhaps the equipment. I think they just need a sign on the dotted line, so to speak.
All right. Well, we will check back with you, Mark Stewart. Thank you for that update. There is a shelter that has opened up at the East Boulder Community Center, and that is where we find 7 News reporter Lance Hernandez. Lance?
At this community center. We're just south of 55th and Baseline on the east side of town, and we've got a shot or a clear view of the Flatirons in the background. You can see smoke pouring out of that V Valley between the two major Flatirons just to the west here, and you can see smoke from this vantage point blowing north, smoke into downtown Boulder. Now, we were told a little bit earlier that there are more than 2,000 people that have been notified. They're on pre-evacuation alert status. People mainly who live in the Bison Drive area as well as the Pine Needle Notch subdivision of Boulder. We're also told that there have been some mandatory evacuations in that area, and that the evacuation or pre-evacuation boundaries are Dartmouth on the north, Greenlee on the south, Table Mesa on the west, and Broadway on the east. Now back here at the evacuation center, which they just moved to about 15 minutes ago, we are told that no one from those areas have moved over here to the shelter yet. I asked if they anticipate a number of people moving to this shelter at the community center this evening, and they said they don't know for sure how many or when that will happen, but they said that when they've set up evacuation centers in the past, a lot of people tend to kind of move in the 8:30 to 11 o'clock time frame. Now, while we've been standing here, I've seen a number of lightning bolts just to the south of us, and when we were driving in, we'd been up in the Fort Collins area covering the high rise or the High Park fire a little bit earlier today. We noticed flames up there on the Flatirons in about 2 or 3 different locations, so that the wind continues to blow. Here we've got a cool breeze, which has been blowing all afternoon long, but the folks that I talked to that were setting up the evacuation center here, both sheriff's officials and Red Cross officials, told me that up there in the canyons the wind is howling, so you can imagine why that fire is being driven the way that it is. Again, we'll give you one more shot. You can see from here the campus of NCAR, the National Center for Atmospheric Research. There's a building in the lower right area where all that smoke is. And that's where authorities were concerned that flames were going to start moving this way. But it seems like winds have changed direction a little bit. They seem to be blowing from the south now. And again, you can see some of that smoke blowing into downtown Boulder. So as we learn more information about that fire and more information about evacuees coming over here to this center, we will pass that information along to you. Right now, we're just going to sign off with that shot of the smoke over there in the Flatirons. And I'll just tell you that there are a lot of people, not just in the evacuation zone, but a number of people in the neighborhoods between here and there that are keeping their eyes on the mountains just west of town, because if things start moving this way, they want to be able to get out of town if they have to.